After I learned that I wasn't the biological daughter of the Reed family, I no longer dared to act spoiled and unreasonable with my brother the way I used to. I stopped clinging to him and I stopped asking about his social life and schedule. At first, my brother seemed quite pleased with that. "Not bad, kid," he said lazily, leaning against the edge of the dining table with a faint smile. "Why did you suddenly become so well-behaved lately?" Until 3 months later, the real Reed heiress was brought home. I still didn't cry and I still didn't make a scene. I only calmly said that I wanted to move back in with my biological parents. My brother's face went pale on the spot. That night, his friends deliberately went to the club to drink with him and console him. One of them said half-jokingly, "If you can't bear to let your sister leave, then just marry her." My brother cursed him with a cold face. "Are you insane? I'm not a beast." The guy fell silent for 2 seconds, then reluctantly changed his wording. "Fine, let me ask it another way. Would you be willing to spend your whole life with her, take care of her, tolerate her for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do you part?" The next second, my brother answered without the slightest hesitation, "That was my plan all along." Me, one ever since I was little, I loved clinging to my brother. Especially after that one time in childhood when I was nearly abducted, and he searched for me like a madman and brought me back. From then on, my dependence on him had become almost pathological. If I didn't see him for more than 5 hours, I would throw a fit. When I grew older, he rarely even went on business trips anymore. Until a few days ago when something suddenly went wrong at one of the group's overseas branches. This time he had no choice. He acted first and explained later and flew straight to New York. On the 5th day of his trip, he finally came back. And right now, I had shut him outside the door, while he patiently coaxed me from the other side. It was my fault. I shouldn't have hidden the business trip from you. But there really was an urgent matter over there, and I had to go in person. "I brought you that bag you've wanted forever. Open the door, okay?" I sat on the couch in the living room with my knees hugged to my chest, covering my ears, not wanting to pay him any attention at all. He knocked for quite a while. When he realized I truly had no intention of opening the door, he finally sighed softly. "Fine, not opening it, huh?" The next second, I heard him apparently making a call to the front desk. Not long after, I heard the sound of keys and tools clinking outside. I shot up from the couch and shouted toward the door. "If you dare call someone to open it, I won't speak to you for 3 days." The noise outside stopped instantly. Through the door, I heard him suck in a low breath, as if he had been angered into laughter. "It's only been 5 days apart. Is it really this serious?" Hearing that made me even angrier. I grabbed the throw pillow beside me and hurled it toward the door, where it landed with a muffled thud. I was just about to spit out a few more threats when several strange lines of text suddenly drifted across my vision. Oh, the vicious supporting girl still doesn't know she isn't actually a real Reed. Just keep acting up. Once the real heiress comes back and her brother finally loses patience with her, she'll learn her lesson. My body froze. I stared blankly at those floating words. Me? Not biological? How is that possible? But the words kept flashing. If she'd just go get a DNA test right now, she wouldn't look this ridiculous. She still thinks she has her parents backing her up when she was never their real daughter to begin with. Outside the door, my brother dismissed the locksmith, then knocked again. His tone was lazy and teasing. "A little sister can't be this clingy with her brother. You have to give me some personal space." I handled everything as fast as I could. Was that really enough to make you this angry? The moment he finished that sentence, I expressionlessly opened the door. He was obviously stunned for a second. Then he lifted a brow and bent slightly to look at me. "You're forgiving me this quickly this time?" As he spoke, he handed me the cake, the jewelry box, and the shopping bag in his hands. But my mind was still full of those bizarre comments. Distracted, I took them from him. Then my eyes landed on his hair. He noticed that I was barefoot. His brows immediately furrowed, and he bent to scoop me into his arms. He startled me so badly that I instinctively snapped at him. "Rowan, what the hell is wrong with you now?" He didn't put me down. Instead, he looked at me and asked, completely self-righteous, You were staring at me just now. Weren't you hinting that you wanted me to carry you? I was still angry. I immediately started struggling to get down. But the moment I saw his hair so close, I hesitated for 2 seconds and quietly reached up, plucking a strand from his head. He instantly patted my back in warning. So your new way of getting revenge is pulling my hair? I said nothing. I only looked at the text floating before my eyes and silently clenched that strand in my palm. Because if I really wasn't a biological Reed, then I was probably truly screwed. After all these years, I had thrown tantrums at my brother, made trouble for him, and dumped every bit of my bad temper on him. And the line he always repeated most often was, "Evelyn, if you weren't my biological sister, who on earth could put up with that temper of yours?" 2. When I was little, our parents were always busy handling business all over the world and rarely stayed by my side. Out of guilt, they indulged nearly all my demands. Even when I developed an excessive dependence and possessiveness toward my brother, they only brushed it off lightly and told him, "Give in to her a little." So from the moment I had memories, Rowan had always had a little tail trailing behind him. Wherever he went, I followed. Until one time when he went with his friends to a bar downtown and I insisted on following him inside. The security guard at the entrance stopped me. "Minors aren't allowed in." I immediately grabbed the corner of my brother's shirt and shook my head. "No, I want to go in with my brother." At the time, Rowan had only just turned 18. He was at that age when he loved noise and excitement most. I had annoyed him so much that he directly brushed my hand away and told the driver to take me home first. But when he came out of the bar at 11 that night and checked his phone, he saw that the house steward had called him countless times. That was when he found out I was missing. He immediately lost his mind and dragged a group of people with him to search the entire street for most of the night. In the end, they found me curled up asleep beside a patch of bush not far from the bar. His face was terrifyingly dark when he asked me why I had run off. I had been woken grudgingly by him. I rubbed my face against his cheek and whispered, "Wanted to see my brother sooner." From then on, he rarely went clubbing anymore. And with our parents favoring me, I became more and more justified in ordering him around. While taking care of me, he would grit his teeth and threaten, "Evelyn, if you weren't a biological Reed, I'd have thrown you out of this house ages ago." Before, I had never taken those words seriously. But now, holding the DNA test report in my hand, I realized I really wasn't biological.